up, man? How are you today?
Good, good. I'm still shaking my head of the weekend's events and Athletes Unlimited being in town. I mean, a lot of strong female influence and great athletes. Watching those games yesterday and Monday was something else.
Something else, man. We got to see our buddy Maddie. She was emceeing it. And we got to meet Jocelyn all. That was pretty
Yeah,
cool. Montana Fouts, Odyssey
yeah,
Alexander was awesome. We met like 47 legends, Dane, and I was like, it
yeah,
wasn't even including Amanda Scarborough. Wasn't that crazy meeting Amanda
yeah,
Scarborough?
yeah,
Nuts, man.
yeah. One of those things where you start shaking, not knowing what to say.
And
Starstruck, I guess, is the word for
I can't believe they let us walk around and give us access. Like, do they know who we are? Like, I was surprised we didn't like
it.
break equipment or something. It was really nice of them. So, but no, thank you to AU and of course Coach B and Wichita State and just all the amazing ladies that were out
Yeah,
there. Maddie, thank you for making this happen. All of you guys that were there this weekend or
yep,
didn't catch it live, go check it on our page. We got tons of footage. Justin
yeah.
was great at comic relief. That guy cannot take a breath and go for 4 hours of talking. So we love you, Justin. So missed you tonight. But Dane, that was last week, and as we say, the show
Yeah,
goes on, right?
yeah,
So,
absolutely.
um, we always like to, being from Wichita, transplanted Sooners. Now we're in Wichita. We always make it a point once a month to come back to a local hero, and
Yeah,
especially when we get the chance, a local female hero. So we've got a local Newton resident, someone from your neck of the woods, Dane, overall.
yeah, yeah.
And in a minute here, we're going to be bringing on Kayla Straub. I hope I'm saying that right. She can correct me when she comes on. But we local marathoner, runner, record holder for Kansas, and just one of those ladies that when you see her workouts and what she posts and her runs and how she approaches running, it makes you want to get up and go out and run, you know?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I came across her last year when we were kind of looking through a running segment, Dane, and the
yeah,
timing just didn't work out. So I want to do it justice. And we're lucky to have her on. I know you kind of looked her up a little bit too, Dane. You're
yeah,
impressed with some of her stuff, right?
yeah, absolutely. I mean, that makes you want to get out there, like you said, get out there yourself. And we both back on the running
Yeah.
trails, like getting back into shape as you get older. You want to elongate your life, so that's a
Yeah.
great thing to do is start running and see what the body can do.
Well, I'm excited to get right down to it, man. So I'm always, as we both are runners in our own right. So nothing like this lady, but we were excited to bring her on, the guests of the local guests of the month. Let's get right down to it and bring on Kayla Straub. Kayla, how you doing, my friend?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Amazing, amazing. Thank you
Awesome.
so much for
Thanks.
your time.
Yeah, thank you.
Am I saying it right, Straub? Am I pronouncing it right?
Yes.
Or
Yes.
good, good, good. I was like, hey Siri, how do you say it? No, I'm kidding. So again, Caleb, thanks for coming on. It's an honor. We've got some questions for you. Again, the kind of the running path that you're on, literally. I've got some questions. I'm going to jump into it for you. So seeing some of your records that you've held, congrats, by the way. This itch for running. I've seen some of your marathon posts. I've seen your daily runs. And it's inspirational the way you do it because you'll like have long runs, short runs, not feeling it runs. You'll have those
Yeah.
extended ones, cold, hot. You're just always out there on the move, right? So I'm curious when you began doing this, this running entity that you become. When did you get the itch for this? Tell me when it all began, if you will. You know?
Hmm.
Okay. Well, before I ever hit like an official competitive type race, my running kind of started on a treadmill in a basement. I have three kids. They're pretty close in ages. Today they're 14, 16, and 18. But
Okay.
when I started several years ago, they, were still pretty young. So I couldn't necessarily go outside and get those daily runs. So my neighbor was throwing away a treadmill, and I was like, perfect. So I took it out of their garage sale trash that they were throwing away, and I was like, I get basically 1 mile to myself every day. I'd turn that incline up as high as it would go, and it just became a thing. Um, I was
Wow. Okay.
I was a little bit embarrassed by it because traditionally speaking, I was not very athletic. I didn't grow up athletic, didn't run. I probably hold actually, now I hold a state record in the 100 mile. I probably also hold a state record in the slowest mile ever possibly done. Um, like during PE, they would always make you go run that mile. Well, I would do like a 48-minute mile sitting down picking dandelions.
That's awesome. Let's
So
go.
I totally felt out of place. But it, in that 8, 9 minutes, whatever, on the treadmill, like when I got done, I felt good. So I kind of
Yeah.
had this itch for it. My background kind of being I I came from an abusive relationship, was not something that was approved of in that situation. So I was very self-conscious about it. Well,
Mhm.
after things kind of came to light and I was speaking out about that, I met several runners and they're like, no, like you should sign up for a race, try a 5K. And I'm like, I've got so much social anxiety of racing. I don't use
Yeah.
watches. I don't. So my first official kind of competitive 5K was July of 2019. So
Okay.
showed up, ran that race. I actually placed second overall in that race. And I was like, I got done, and the people who were kind of encouraging me to sign up were like, you're fast. And I was like,
Yeah.
no, I was like, it was the anxiety. So that's where I started, was really July of 19 when I decided to take it pretty serious.
I'm processing
Wow.
this, and Dana and I talk about these type of things a lot, Kayla, and I just thank you for being so open and sharing for
Yeah,
those
absolutely.
ladies listening. Thank you for what you're comfortable sharing. You took a bad situation and you literally were able to run in a positive direction away from that. That's
Yeah.
amazing. Even just the first couple minutes of talking to you to hear that you put your kind of concerns and your worries and your troubles into something productive from literally something that was thrown away in the trash. You began running and making
Yeah.
records. That's cool, man. I mean, Dana, I'm sitting here kind of already like, yeah, I'm making notes already, Kayla, first five
Yeah.
minutes in. I'm curious in that first mile, because I remember this. Dane talks about this too. My first actual mile when I tried, it sucked. It was like 15 and a half. Obviously worked it down to like 6 or whatever. When your first mile, before you like, okay, I got to do this, after the grade school stuff, but when you got the treadmill, do you remember what your
Yeah.
first mile was? Like what your time was, or
It was
close to it?
terrible. I think I was pretty excited the first time I hit maybe a 12-minute mile.
Let's go.
You know,
Okay.
I was like, wow, that's under 15 minutes,
Yeah,
It's
that's cool. That's awesome.
Well,
And then
like I
and then
say,
look at you now. Go ahead, Dan.
yeah, I was gonna say it always has to start somewhere. You know,
yes.
after that first run and you took second, did that really kind of get the juices flowing of maybe saying to yourself, I wonder what else I can do? And from that point on, you started doing other runs. What is maybe one or two of your favorite runs you've done so far?
Hmm.
Sure, my path is definitely not traditional. So that race in July of 19, I brought my teenage son because he was the only one home. I was pretty sick that day just from the anxiety and feeling totally out of place. So I was like, I don't think I'm going to do this again. Well, those those supports that I had were amazing, and they're like, no, it's okay. So actually, one of those people was like, well, I'm thinking about signing up for a fall marathon, which happened to be the Prairie Fire Marathon. And I was like,
Nice.
okay, whatever. Like I'm a checkbox person. The more check boxes I can get, like I feel accomplished. So I got this marathon training plan, and it had things like 5 miles, 7 mile. And I'm like, it was a very basic marathon plan. And I was like,
Mhm.
I don't think I can run 5 miles. I don't think I can run. And every week, me and this person, we kind of went through the training, and, we were doing it.
Yeah.
So I showed up. So I went from a 5K to a marathon to 100 mile is kind of it,
Ooh,
that's,
wow. Okay.
so I showed up to Prairie Fire in October that year, October of 2019. Well, not being athletic or kind of that background, I didn't know anything about running, other than I was running. So I showed up and I missed qualifying for Boston by a minute and a half.
Oh my.
Well, to me, I didn't even know what that meant. My friends,
Mhm.
my supports knew what that meant, and they're like, "No, you have to do this again." And I'm like, "What's the significance?" I had to do a lot of research. I'm like, "Wow, that's like
That's fast. Yeah,
that's
it's very
that's
fast.
amazing."
Yeah, it's
Um,
awesome.
so I quickly got onto Google, found the next marathon, which happened to be the Oklahoma City Marathon, the next
Mm.
closest qualifying race, COVID.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
So
Yeah.
I was in prime training, and like when that email came through and it said, sorry, we're canceling all in person, you can do virtual. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm already doing virtual. I run every
Yeah.
single day by myself. Like I'm not interested in participate, whatever. They already had my money. There was no refunds. Well, just about that time was when my next 100 mile, well, my first 100 mile stumbled across, Facebook, and I was like, what is the 100-mile race? I'm like, what does this mean? Like, how do you even possibly do this?
Is this human?
So,
What is this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
so that's kind of how I went from
Wow.
5K to 100 in 3 races. So
That's crazy.
Wow.
Have you been back to OKC to do it? Because when we did our first one there, it was amazing. Like you
Yeah.
have to try it, Kayla. I'm telling you, because my wife and I did last time. I know Dane's done it too. There's
Yeah.
something about it when you start at the memorial and you're rolling together on the highway, like they shut down the highway free and you're just rolling through Oklahoma City. You got to try it sometime if you haven't yet. It's amazing. So
okay,
yeah.
it's still on my list. I have
Yeah.
not been back
Yeah.
yet. So
It's something about it. I think it's just that hometown pride, that community coming together in support of something that was a negative turning into a positive. Kind of like what you said with your story. And I can see why people,
Yeah.
because a lot of people follow what you do and they love your encouraging style. And I keep going back to this where it's like you took this and you speak openly about some of the struggles and troubles, real
Yeah.
life. You're not saying, oh, running's the easiest thing ever. No, you're like, this was hard, dude. This was a
Yeah.
hard thing to learn, but you didn't stop. It's like, yep, okay, got the 1 mile on my treadmill. Yep, got the 3. Yep, got the half, got the full, got the 100. You're just like, what's next on the checklist? And I'm working my way through this huge task, and you're making it now easy
Yeah.
because of the discipline, the influence. I can see that why people love you. Who's helped you? Like you spoke about maybe some of your buddies or influences. Who influences you and helps you on your
Yeah.
journey?
if we're looking at other athletes or,
Yeah.
reading
Yeah.
material or that type of things, this person who kind of went through the first marathon training plan with me handed me a book. It was the David Goggins book.
Yep.
I
Yeah.
probably took a little too much from that, but I fell in love with it and just really saying, you can get through things. You can.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of retraining my mind. He's a little excessive. I've got 3 little ones who need me. I can't risk, pushing through stress fractures and that type of thing. But I love the mentality piece
Yeah.
of his message. So
Yeah. Okay.
yeah. So when I get into a rut, I definitely pick back up his books and podcasts.
I see that. Okay. That makes sense. Because you push through a lot, that's for sure. So that's cool.
Yeah.
So Goggins, so you got that Goggins, that dog in you. I got it. So I
Yeah.
love it.
Yes,
Go
yes,
ahead, man.
love
I love
that.
it. Yeah.
Just other marathoners that I love to follow. Sarah Hall is one of my biggest.
Mhm.
I mean, I just love how I just love her as a person. I love how she
Yeah.
gives back to the kiddos, and
Yeah.
there's just
Speaking of
something
which,
heartwarming about it, and
I
I
love
love
it.
to follow them. But
Totally with you.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Dane.
Now that we're about halfway through 2024 now. You were going through the summer. I know it's, like they say, it's a dog days of summer, and trying to find time to run when it's not blazing hot out's a pretty significant task. So is there anything that you're, maybe an event or two that you're training for, maybe looking forward into the fall?
So my original plan for this year was to run the event in Valley Center, the 6:12 24-hour race.
Ooh,
With
okay.
that, because I've got this goal on my piece of paper that I want to qualify for the US 24-hour team. So I ran 6 days in the Dome last year. That was my first 24-hour event, and running a track for 24 hours is very hard. So I was excited that I wouldn't have to travel and there would be one, 10 miles from me. Well, it turns out like they got the distance certified, but there's some other red tape that the USA Track and Field does not accept for that race. So I had to shift plans a little bit. So in the fall, I plan to go to Arizona. I think it's called Fat Ox is the 24-hour event, and they are going to be the US championship race of the year. So
Nice.
I'm hoping to
Let's
show
go.
up out there and get my 130 miles and qualify for the US team. So that is top level goal for the year. So
Wow. Is that all? I'm kidding. That's amazing. That's
yeah,
crazy, man.
that's
You're crazy. That's that you're doing that. And you're just like,
Yeah.
it's just 130 miles. As
Yeah.
if like you just do that on a weekly basis. That's awesome. What an amazing task, Kayla.
I was gonna say, and we hope that you'll document that on your
Yeah.
Instagrams and things like that, so we can keep keep track of what you're doing and how you're
Or a
doing.
GoPro. Can you get a GoPro and like clip it
Yeah, there
onto
you go.
like, maybe a hat or something? That'd be cool.
Yeah,
Here's
Yeah.
mile 37. Hey guys, it's me again. Here's mile 96. As you're going through it, that'd be
It's
really
funny
cool,
you say
Kayla.
that because my coworkers have all been like, can you just put that on? I said,
Yeah.
there's probably too much like profanity and other things just going through I said, no.
You don't
like,
want to see this.
It's like what happens out there
Yeah.
stays out there.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
What happens on the track stays on the track. I got you.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yes.
Well, it's awesome, Kayla, because again, just kind of I'm going back to this thing that you've created, right? You've created this brand, you've created this movement, and now again, people have caught on. I know the running community here is very strong. Wichita and really Sedgwick County has a very, very strong
Yeah.
worldwide running presence. Our buddies Matt, of course, Jake, Liz. We've met some amazing people. And you spoke about the encouraging thing before we go into rapid, Dan. I was going to expand on this. There's such an encouraging thing. And like you said, you went from, I don't even know what this really is, where it's going to take me, to being a national competing force within 5 years. Think about that for a second. A lot of people take like decades, and like you have jumped in literally with both feet, no pun intended, and now you're at the top of the world in the sport, if you think about it, in 5 years. Well, if that's not a testimony, anyone out there listening, to go from, hey, maybe your situation isn't where you want them, even as you had shared, Kayla, in your home life, to where you are now, to now you're literally competing at the top of the world thing. I mean, am I crazy here? That's amazing, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's what drive, determination, discipline can do. I mean, and like we always say, I mean, you can both attest to this. When you're out there running, it's really therapeutic, and you really hash a lot of things out in your own mind about yourself and your situation, and it really helps to flush all that out and bring something positive to your own self. So and awesome. it shines to others definitely with what you're doing, Kayla. So thank you for, like I say, we can't thank you enough for talking to us tonight about it.
That's very, very, Kayla, I have one more question before rapid. And I asked Dane, when everybody gets running cravings, I always crave tater tots. I know Dane has chips. When you run, what do you crave, Kayla? When you get to that point where like you're needing that just energy boost, what's your running craving?
Well, any of my ultra running buddies they kind of make fun of me because constantly in my pocket or my water bottle, I stash Reese's.
Okay.
So warm Reese's, they don't fare very well, but Reese's and Dr. Pepper, I actually almost couldn't finish a race because I didn't know that I would want Dr. Pepper. Now I know that I'll want Dr. Pepper, so it comes.
I love it. That's awesome. Well, good to know. So Reese's and Dr. Pepper is your thing.
Yes.
I love that. Yeah. So it's so interesting to hear what people have their things, right? So, okay. So Dane and I, for a second, we're going to transition, Kayla, into something that you're familiar with. I love this piece. Dane, I hope you're ready and you got your picks and all that. So in this segment, Kayla, we've got 5 rapid fun questions for rapid fire. Now, Dane's been on a roll lately. I'm a little bit mad because he's been really kicking my butt these past couple sessions. So here's the story how this works, Kayla. We're going to present 5 questions, and as you've listened to the show, this segment, reality kind of doesn't exist. You can go into the future, you can go into the past. Kind of nothing is off the table for this personality test. Okay, so what we'll do, we'll bet on you, as you've heard, and let's see who gets closer to picking what we think you're gonna say. Sound good? So
okay.
So no wrong answer. You just have to pick. You have to pick one or the other. You go with what you feel is right, but there's no wrong answer. Okay. So they're doing a celebrity event at the qualifier. Again, going into the competition that you're doing in Arizona, there's going to be a qualifier, and they say, "Hey, Kayla, somehow this happens, and you're actually going to do a race. We're going to televise a race on ESPN2. To qualify, you have to race one of these 2 iconic figures. You have to race them, okay? And you have to beat them. So your 2 choices that you can race against. Well, let me say this. You don't have to beat them, but you have to finish the race. We'll say that, okay? You have to go against the Flash. I'm a DC guy. The Flash. Love the Flash. Or you have to race Sonic the Hedgehog. Somehow they both come to life. You've got to race the Flash. You've got to race Sonic the Hedgehog. Who do you want to be your opponent for this race?
Well, I'm going Sonic the Hedgehog.
Oh, dang, Dan, I had the Flash. I really did. Because I figured as much as you're like just jumping all in, but you're like, let's go, let's take on Flash. So, Dan, who'd you have on that one?
Oh, I had Sonic. He'd make it a lot more fun.
Okay, yeah, okay.
It's nostalgic.
The big shoes,
That's awesome. Fine, Dane. You're starting off right. I got you, Dane. It's all good. So, okay, Kayla. So I'm down by one. Let's see if we can turn this around. So, question two, you're getting some sponsorships. Things are rolling along, kind of how it goes. So along with other brands, two of these iconic companies say, Kayla, we want you to do a commercial for us. We want you to kind of cut our commercial for us. So we want you to like run in, hi, I'm Kayla Straub, buy this product or whatever, right? So your two companies you can actually do this Kayla commercial for is you can be the next Jimmy John's. It's very freaky fast. Like you get the idea, like Jimmy John's, or check it out, you can be the next spokeswoman for Pop Tarts. Jimmy John's or Pop Tarts, you can do a commercial for. Which one are you going with?
Jimmy John's.
Oh. Dane, please tell me, Dane, you had Pop Tarts, Dane, please.
Nope.
Dane,
Jimmy John's.
Let's go. Oh man. Okay, I can just kind of see you running in, like I can see it now if I'm saying it as you're like running in. Hi, I'm Kayla, and like sub appears or something. It'd be really cool.
Oh, yeah.
So, Dane, really, man, you had Jimmy John's.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, man,
Fair enough. Fair
I'm
enough.
on a roll, man. I'm on a roll. I'll tell you that.
Okay, let's see if you get this one. So they're transitioning, Kayla, as things get known. You are asked to check this out. Be a part of both of these bands. They're coming on tour. 2025 reunion tour, world tour type things going on, okay? And they're going to redo one of their classic music videos, and they want to make it about your running journey. So like they're going to make it like all hyped and adrenaline fueled and aggressive and all that. You can be a part of the next music video for the next Metallica music video or the next Guns N' Roses music video. All about you. Which one we going with?
Metallica.
I'm just kidding. I got that one right. So I got that one. Dan, did you have Metallica?
No, I had GNR.
I finally got one right, man. Oh,
from the
man.
80s here, 80s,
Let's
early
go.
90s.
Got that. Okay, got you. Okay. So right now, Dane, you got two, I got one. So here we go, Kayla, rolling along. So next question, another event. So there's a Wichita, you know how they do like Intrust has always got stuff popping. So they invite you along with Wichita heroes to come in and do kind of like another celebrity slash I guess charity event. And what the event is, check this out. You're gonna have to play flashcards. There's a lot of like speedy stuff in this if you can't tell. You have to do flashcards against one of these two opponents as they're televising it on like local channel news 12. Your two opponents that you have to go flashcards against. However you do that, your opponents are Zach Bryan or Post Malone. Flashcard competition. Which one are you going with?
Yeah, I like both of them.
Yeah. They're
I'm
both
gonna
great.
say Zach Bryan because he was pretty cool at Cotillion.
Man, this is not my night, Dane. I really had Post Malone. I'm a postie. I'm big time. So, Dane, which one did you have on that?
No, I'd Post Malone.
Okay.
So we both get that one wrong. I'm letting you hang around on this one. I think.
Maybe I can tie you on this one, Dane. Maybe I can tie you. Yeah. But I mean, the best I can do is tie. So last one, Kayla, on rapid fire. Okay. So another part of speed, because you're very fast. So naturally, with your speed, they want you to be a part of an auction, as in you're going to be the auctioneer. They have to talk fast and all that for like kind of another charity. They're doing maybe some like stuff to just help with donations and all that. This is going to take place in Kansas City, barbecue capital of the world. You get to be the auctioneer. The two things that you can choose that you auction off, there's two topics. You can be the auctioneer for different types of toasters. There's like thousands of toasters. Or you can be the auctioneer for different types of picture frames. Toasters, picture frames, you're the auctioneer. Which one do you want to try to sell more of? Go.
Toasters.
Oh my gosh. I cannot believe this thing.
Yeah.
I had like this whole like in my mind, like you like frame it where it's like really cool and life is a picture and all this really cool like poetic stuff. Dang it, I had the picture frame.
Oh, yeah.
Dane, how about you, Dane?
The streak is still alive, man.
Oh my gosh.
Toasters.
Okay. So fine, Dane, fine. So Kayla, thank you again. Dane's got 4. I got 1 right on that one. So that's a little segment that we do called rapid fire. So I appreciate you being a good sport. Okay.
Yeah.
So hope you liked it. So Dane, go ahead on that last part.
On this last section, we call it open mic, Kayla, that we open up the floor to our guests to maybe talk to some of those, younger runners, or in your case, some of the ones that are just beginning their journey of whether it's running, sports, music. Is there something that whenever you started, maybe like from the time you started to now, maybe a mantra or maybe a philosophy that you carried with you that just keeps you going in the right direction, that maybe you can share with some of those who are just starting their journey as well?
Hmm. I think I made her speechless, Dan.
Yeah, it's just been, like I said, I'm a very goal-oriented type of person.
Mhm.
I'm very visionary. So for myself, like I see the end goal, I see what I'm trying to achieve, whether that's achieving that first mile. I mean, everything that has just been a building block from one thing to the next.
Mhm.
I'm kind of addicted a little bit to the chase of whatever goal I'm after. It's not necessarily, okay, I had a good race or I had a bad race. Bad race means I have to stop because I'm not good at it. I guess, view everything as a learning opportunity. When you run, you spend a lot of time by yourself. In my
Mhm.
case, I have a dog who goes with me almost every day, unless it's a speed day. Um, but like I said, it's kind of a lonely sport, so you can spend a lot of time by yourself. And when you push yourself mentally, physically, spiritually, whatever, you really just turn inwards, kind of
Mhm.
get to know yourself. You have to kind of
Mhm.
sit with those dark thoughts. You have to, you realize what you're
That's true.
capable of, what you're not. Like it's just been, to me, it's almost meditation. It's
Mhm.
Yeah.
it's a it's a dedicated time for me every single day. Obviously with my history, I went through a time of depression, not knowing how I was going to care for my children, not knowing kind of what the next day would even hold. My
Mhm.
mantra at that point was just put the shoes on.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
I knew every
It's
single
good.
day. So I have not missed actually a mile. I mean, I've even had a stress fracture, and I told my doctor, I said, maybe this is excessive or extreme. I said, but I'm going to continue my 1 mile a day streak, because
Mhm.
it was for my own mental sake. Like
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
didn't start running because I'm a competitor. Like I was terrified of that. Um, so
Yeah.
for me, it was really just that daily, get up. Like maybe this is the worst part of your day today. Like get out, put the shoes on, go run 8-10 minutes, come back and start your day. Like, but
Mhm.
Wow.
at the end of that 8 or 10 minutes, every day I felt better. Like I could tackle what was in front of me. Whether it was stuff that the kids needed or stuff that my employer needed, or, just trying to juggle everything. That 8 or 10 minutes was my time. It was,
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
it so so sometimes I think when people are like, well, you're really competitive and you're really fast and you're really everything, in my mind, I almost have the two things separate. Like
Mm.
there's running, and running to me is a spiritual practice. It's a time of reflection, of deep thought. Then I have my competitive side. And, that requires me to be strong mentally, physically, spiritually. I like it all
Mhm.
together. I like to take care of my
Mhm.
body as a sign of respect. But it's just one of my
Wow.
three components. It's just become such a daily habit for me, and you know what it's given to me has been just eye-opening. I didn't even know I was missing it. I didn't know I could do it. It's you know my kids see my passion for it. My son was very much the same way. He's a gamer, big time gamer. He's struggled with being dyslexic and just kind of standoffish his entire life.
Mhm.
Well, he crewed at one of my 100-mile races, and he just ran off and on, because at that point it was kind of half walk, half run, just shuffle and get through it.
Mhm.
Well, here he is, a freshman in high school, and he joined cross country, and it just
Wow.
changed his life.
Let's
His
go.
confidence boosted. He graduated pretty much top of his class. I mean, just total turnaround. Like, so it's so I've got my own selfish, like, I need this, I want this. It helps me stay in tune and true to myself. But I love sharing that with others, whether it's my kids. I'm a in my spare time, all my spare time. I'm a
Yeah.
personal trainer, so I love working with clients. I love just instilling just that little seed of hope in them, that
Mm.
I when they're saying, I can't do this, I can't do this, it's absolutely you can. Do you
Mm.
want to do this? And how do we
Yeah.
roadmap that? How do we get you there? So it's
I'm
Wow.
just, as
Wow.
if you've listened, me and they do not get speechless very often. So I'm like, I'm sitting here listening. I'm just like, just put the shoes on. This is the worst thing I can deal with that day because you're preparing for life. Like you're kind of like when you're like, I can handle what life throws at me because you're kind of showing life who's boss. Hey man, I may have a bad day, may have a flat tire, something may go wrong with like, a loved one, a spouse, relationship, something may happen at work, something may happen on the weekend. I may get bad news. I may have a bill come up.
Yeah.
You're like, this parallel of like running, like literally running through your problems. It's neat, man.
Yeah.
It's like when you're talking about meditating about it, and that's a lot of times. And I'll pray a lot when I'm running, like, hey, help me kind of get through the day, God. And I know, Dane, you talked about this too. Running really is kind of like it's healing. It helps you overcome life, right, Dane? I mean,
Yeah.
she said it perfectly.
Yeah. I mean, it's that therapy that everybody needs. It helps you sort out a lot of the things because it just makes you single-minded when you're going down the road, and then whatever pops in your head, you can solve those as they come in. So
Wow.
I know you can attest to this, Kayla, being out there on the road running those long miles. You can really sort out a lot of things and help yourself through a lot of things.
Wow.
So
I've also learned, when to let things go, because I've also told my kids, I said, if I can't solve it in 26 miles, 100 miles, I'm probably not going to solve it.
Wow.
It's some things are in our control and other things are just, we can try, and you have to let it go.
When you break it down like that too, Kayla, I know we're kind of in overtime, but it's fascinating when you're like, again, in your case now, the 8 or 10 minute mile where someone starts off, and let that be your guide. Because remember, Kayla even said start off at 12 or 15 minutes. I did, Dane did, whatever. It's 15 minutes or 6 minutes or whatever. When you're taking even that 1 mile, and that doesn't mean, as Kayla has very clearly said, you may still have to deal with life when you get back. For that little bit of time, you're chasing that peace of mind where I'm in control of this. I am choosing to take this time, and I'm going to run, and nobody can take this away from me. Like there's no flat tire in the world, or there's no whatever in the world that can take away that little bit of time for me where I'm controlling the situation. I feel like, as you said, for anyone out there that's maybe more control oriented, I'm very, very much kind of a type A, like you said, checklisty person. Running is very therapeutic for anybody out there that is very much like, I need to control something, because they'll say, I can't do it. When you learn your first mile, you just do it. Even if it's 17 minutes, there's something about controlling, right, Dane? Like you're just checking off the list, It's so powerful. I go on for days. Go ahead, Dane.
Yeah. Well, I was just going to ask you another question. I know whenever I would get out there and run, I would have, like you said earlier, you go to different genres. There's not one genre you stick with whenever you're running. It might be a slow day, or it might be something I need to pump up my heart rate. Is there a song maybe that whenever you go on any distance run from 3 to 100 miles or 70 miles, is there a song that, okay, I'm going to listen to this one because it's one of the ones that kicks me in the backside to get going? Is there maybe one or two songs that you have that do that for you?
There's a couple, and they're all very different. So one of my favorite songs that I really like is Daisies by Katy Perry. I love that song. A couple other ones, one just kind of more fun, less meaningful, I guess. I just like the sound of it when I'm running, is Copperhead Road. I mean, that's kind of a weird one. My dog's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm just
it works. It works for me.
And then it's like AC/DC is always just a fun whatever. So it's all over the place.
You're much more eclectic, because Dane hates running with me, Kayla, because mine's a lot of this metal stuff. It's like, roll, you suck. It's a lot of that. I'm like, oh, I know, tell me I'm bad. And I run. I go, no, that's awesome. Well, Kayla, I will say this. Thank you again for making time to do
absolutely.
this. This is, as you know, we once you come on once, you're part of the alum, part of the family. So as you do more events and things down the road, please come back in the future. Make this kind of a recurring thing. We will get this out. The world needs to hear that message. We'll get it out as soon as we can on all of our streaming services. So I just want to thank you again for kind of hanging out with us on a later weeknight edition. It's never an easy task. So we'll get this out to the world. And again, please, let's make sure this isn't the last time. Let's stay in touch and make this the first of many.
Absolutely.
Okay. So.
All right. Well, thanks for having me.
Thank you, Kayla. It was an honor. Thank you again. Much love.
Absolutely.
We'll be in touch very soon. Okay. Thank you, Kayla.
All right.
Thank you.
So Dane, that was Kayla, man. I'm telling you, wasn't she everything and more that we talked about? Amazing, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you take a lot from that. I mean, some of those things that, when you're on your run or you're doing your discipline, whether it be sports, music, there's always some therapy in that. And to hear her put it that way, I mean, we all go through things, and just having her become the great person that she is, in spite of that, because of what she can do, is an inspiration to everybody out there, saying, like you say, you all go through dark times, but you can find something that you love that can bring you through those things. And then you learn so much about yourself during the process. So it's a great message for everybody to hear. I loved it.
That one really, because I know we learn something every time, and I say this, we're blessed because this is close to 300 or so. I don't know where we are, but when she spoke so confidently about, hey, this is life. I keep coming back to this. Let this be a little bit of an escape. And I know we can't escape life or reality of life and all that, but we've got things we got to do. But everyone can take, even if you work your way up to 30 minutes a day, like we've talked about our routines. You're more of a night runner. I'm a morning runner. Everyone can find 20 minutes. If you look at an average, like you might watch Netflix for 30 minutes a day. Maybe you can take that. And then if you just walk it, run it, like she said, give yourself a little time and allow this this process to begin. It gets better every day. She spoke about that. And if you notice, Dane, like as she was going through the episode, we were talking, she talked about kind of little highlights of how the celebrations, like as life, you could tell, continue to get better for her. This milestone happened, this marathon happened, this 5K happened, this 100-mile. Like you can now benchmark if you're as a runner, because all you need is a pair of shoes. She said, just put the shoes on. You can benchmark journeys of success. Now our kids doing it. Like, did you catch that, Dane? Where she's like, the running was a milestone of her life, right? Did you see that?
Yeah. I mean, I love the story about her kid doing cross country now. It's
that's cool.
Like you say, it's addicting. What did she say? Addicted to the chase.
I like that.
Good way to put it.
Yeah, it's good, man. I'm still trying to figure that part out, because when I run, I'm definitely not chasing it. Like I'm being chased by the breathing thing. But that was just, I think it was very, very powerful. It was timely.
Yeah.
I love the vulnerability of saying, hey, I'm dealing with real life. I think parents could do good from the, I know we have a lot of younger listeners as well, but parents could really benefit from that mindset that it's okay. As she told you, she let us know she's got teenagers. So she started when they were probably 12, 13-ish. 2019. So it's not like she began when they were babies. This is a little bit later on project at her kid's life, and is still now doing at the top of the game. 5 years, man, going from 1 mile to 100-mile marathon. That's crazy to me in 5 years, but you can do it if you put your mind to it. The daily thing, right?
Yeah.
So, man, Dane, that's definitely one that I won't forget, man. That was a great episode. So,
I got a page of notes here that I'm going to have to pour through over and over again.
Yeah, as we said, Dane, we that's another one of those just powerful. The reason we do the show, female leadership like that. No wonder people love her. No wonder she's a trainer. So I hope we get her back on again pretty soon. So
absolutely,
guys, that wraps up our week. Dane and I will both be calling games this weekend in tournaments, but we do have Coach Serena. You're gonna love Coach Serena. Kind of the same lines as Anna Woods from She Strength. Coach Serena specializes in nutrition. So Sunday we'll get a chance to break down some of her genius mind. And then next week we'll go into our friend Zuki from Starset. Can't wait for that. Got a whole bunch of great music coming up in sports. So on behalf of, again, Dane and Josh and Kayla, don't forget, as always, that we love you. And Dane,
thank you for listening.